Welcome everybody to another movie review where we talk about Birth of the Dragon, and I got to admit right off the bat, between the two of us, I'm more of the Bruce Lee type.
No, I'm more of the Bruce Lee type. I'm Bruce Lee. This motherfucker didn't do martial arts for 4 years. I did martial arts for 4 years.
I've sat on my ass and watched a lot of Kung Fu movies.
Oh, that makes you a Kung Fu master?
I think that qualifies me.
Oh,
I think it does. I think it qualifies
practicing
me.
for 4 years, that doesn't qualify me, but you watching movies, that qualifies.
Yeah, that doesn't qualify you to do jack squat. Me, I could throw a punch just as good as anybody.
Okay.
So this movie is the latest sort of Bruce Lee sort of biopic, I guess, if you want to call it that. And where do you want to start, I guess, with Birth of the Dragon? I really liked the movie. I'm not going to say it doesn't have some flaws. It does. But I really liked it. I liked the plot. I like how it showed. This is another, like the movie review, if you remember last week, which we saw Ingrid Goes West, it was taught a lesson. This movie had a lesson, too. It showed how pompous Bruce Lee was, how he cared about becoming a TV star, and this movie showed through the transition, through that fight he had with Master Wan, how he changed and he learned a lesson from the fight. It changed Bruce Lee, and I think this fight is what caused Bruce Lee to be a legend and really teach bring Kung Fu to America. I guess so. I mean, where to start, I guess, is start with probably with the story itself. And, I guess this is based on articles about Bruce Lee's toughest fight. And he fought Wong Jackman. Yeah, which was a Kung Fu master. He was the Kung Fu master. He was the master of a temple in Chaiwan, where Kung Fu started, of the Chailin temple. He was the master. Yes. And he really is paying his penance in America because he almost killed a guy on the fight because he let his pride get to him. And his teaching said you need to be humble and you can't be boastful and ambitious and pride, which Bruce Lee is. So this master, Master Wong, learns to be humble again. And this fight actually humbles him, too. Well, yeah. My thing is like, okay, this is inspired by the true story. So there's a lot of leeway in fact and fiction and everything like that. And so they even say in the beginning of the movie, they say, well, everybody believes that basically he came to America to teach Bruce Lee a lesson of not to teach Westerners about Kung Fu. Major Wong said, this is a Chinese tradition. Chinese hold it sacred. And the guy says, well, what about our atom bomb? This is what Steve McKee says in the movie. He goes, atom bomb is about death. Kung Fu is about life. That's why we cherish it so much. It belongs to China. So this guy, he does realize the lesson that Kung Fu does need to be brought to America. He just wanted it to be brought to America the right way and introduced the right way, which he, at the point of the movie, he thought Bruce Lee was too ambitious and too pompous to do that, and that's why he had to teach Bruce Lee a lesson. Well, I mean, not just that, but like, as I'm watching the movie, I'm like, I don't really know if that's the reason why he even fought Bruce Lee in the first place, because it's not really about the whole idea of, oh, I'm going to take him on because he's teaching Westerners. He even says in the movie, he says he's going to bring it to the masses. That's a good thing. Mm-hmm. So why does everybody then, these experts, so-called experts who have written these articles, think that this guy came here to teach him a lesson for teaching the Westerners? I don't understand that. That was a bit confusing, the movie. I think the movie did describe how he did teach him a lesson how not to be pompous, how to really change his style and become a better Kung Fu artist. And because of it,
Bruce Lee actually created his own martial art, which I didn't know until the end of the movie, is his first martial art Bruce Lee created started the whole mixed martial arts in this country, which has been around for 30 years.
Yeah.
Bruce Lee started the mixed martial art. Before that, you had Kung Fu, Taekwondo, Karate. He started this mixed martial art idea where you mix all the martial arts and brought it to the world. And I think that was a good thing.
No, that was a good thing. I do appreciate it. But let's be honest, this is not really a Bruce Lee story.
No, it was mostly about this guy, Steve McQueen, in the movie, who wants to save a girlfriend who's pretty much a slave to
this Chinese lady who's a crime boss, but she looks like a geisha girl. I don't really get it, but whatever.
They have a term called for beanies, beanus, which are the woman they capture. They smuggle in the country, and they pretty much never let him go. And at the end of the movie, they do let him all go because of Bruce Lee, because he does get humble, and he makes a deal. He says, look, we'll pick a winner of the fight. There needed to be a winner, because this fight had 15 million yen. Now, yen has always been worth more than American money. So, 15 million yen, you're talking probably 20 million on the fight.
Okay.
So they needed a winner. But his idea is, okay, we'll have a winner. But guess what? You need to free these girls. All over Chinatown.
Damn, a lot of men are going to be sad now. Look, the thing about it for me is like, okay, fine. They advertised this movie as a Bruce Lee movie.
It really wasn't a Bruce Lee movie.
It wasn't a Bruce Lee movie.
It was mostly about the guy, Steve McQueen, trying to get his girlfriend free.
Now, from what I know is that this character of Steve McKee is actually based on Steve McQueen, who ended up actually training with Bruce Lee back in the 60s, which is actually quite fascinating. And look, the idea is that, honestly, I'm going to be honest with you, I wasn't invested in the story with the character of Steve. I wasn't invested in it.
Well, you said they had to re-edit it several times because you said it was too much on Steve and they wanted more Bruce Lee. And I still even think with the editing, there was not enough Bruce Lee. There was a lot of Major Wong. He was a big role.
Yeah.
It was he played a huge role, and so did Steve McQueen. There was very little on Bruce Lee.
There was very little of Bruce Lee, which was really kind of, not going to lie, kind of ticking me off, because they're trying to focus on this love story between Steve and this Asian girl.
Jalowin or something like that. I can't even pronounce her name.
I'm glad you tried, because I wasn't even going to do it. But I'm not going to lie. I didn't feel invested in that story at all. I didn't feel anything for that story, nothing.
Well, as I said, this really wasn't a cinematic movie. As I said, this is not really a movie. I would go to the movie theaters. I thought it was a Bruce Lee movie. That's why I went. This is the type of movie that I would probably wait until Netflix or wait until it comes out on, like, ABC or Showtime or Cinemax or HBO.
I mean, it doesn't really even feel sort of like a cinematic movie exactly. It feels more of like probably a like almost like a made-for-TV movie. It doesn't really.
It seems like a Lifetime or a Hallmark or even an HBO movie.
Yeah, it doesn't really feel like a cinematic film, which is a real shame to me. And I mean, let's get to the acting, because I thought that the actors that played Bruce Lee and Wong Jackman did a very good job.
Absolutely. I think Wong Jackman, the actor played him, did a much better job than Bruce Lee. I think the guy who played Bruce Lee needs a little more acting chops. I think he needs to do a few more movies. I don't think he's as established. I think the actor played Major Wong. I don't know if I've seen him in movies, but I think he's a little bit more established. I think he's a little bit better of an actor.
Yeah. Did you feel like the guy who played Bruce Lee maybe was overacting a little bit?
I think he was overacting, and I think he was, I think he didn't show a true perception of Bruce Lee, which I like. A lot of people saw Bruce Lee, yes, he did change, he did get into fights, whatever, but I don't think Bruce Lee was that obnoxious, that pompous. I mean, yes, he did want to be a TV star. Yes, he did want to be famous, but I don't think he was that kick-ass. I mean, he did treasure Kung Fu, and he really did want to bring Kung Fu and teach it to Americans, and really he did know it was an art form. He did value it and treasure it. I don't think it was all about kicking ass.
I don't think so either, but that's the sort of the perception that is sort of made in the movie, unfortunately. And it's like, okay, I guess. I mean, for me, like I said, I thought he was doing an impersonation of Bruce Lee instead of actually being Bruce Lee.
Exactly.
If that makes any sense.
It does.
It does, yeah. And this movie also stars Billy Magnuson, who was in the movie that we saw last week, was Ingrid Goes
I
West.
thought he was phenomenal in this movie. I thought he was very good in this movie. I think he's becoming a good actor.
He's becoming a good actor, but I just felt like, as I said, the spotlight was on him too much. And I felt like even though he was good in the movie, I felt like, why have this character here? I mean, it's basically the whole fight that happens between Wong Jackman and Bruce Lee is not even a conflict of interest between the two of them. It's based on basically
Steve McQueen trying to get a girl free.
Exactly. So it's like there's tension, but the tension is not really there all that much. Because you're like, okay, because you know in this movie that, of course, Bruce Lee has to live, so, of course, Bruce Lee's not going to die. You know that they're not going to really ever kill the character of Steve or the Asian chick, and I don't think they were ever going to really kill Wong Jackman. The movie, in some ways, feels safe.
Too safe.
Yes, it feels too safe. Even there's not really any kind of... I'm not looking for a lot of blood, but there wasn't a lot of, like, even beating up face-wise.
No, there really wasn't. You would think in a martial arts movie there'd be a lot more bloody faces. Even when they kicked ass at the end of the movie where they're going in to talk to this Auntie B, or whatever her name is, to try to free the Beano girls. I mean, yeah, they kicked ass, but they showed people... there was no blood, there was no guts. It was just kick them, knock them out. It was mostly knocking people out.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I mean... what did you think of all the action scenes?
I thought the action scenes were very good. It did show true martial arts. I did Taekwondo, so I think those were very true to character, and I think it was very good. Showing the fighting scenes, I think it was very good. It was Bruce Lee's fighting style. It's how Bruce Lee did fight. I thought it was very good. As I said, it felt like a Lifetime or a Hallmark movie. I liked it, though. I really did like it. I wish it was more Bruce Lee based than the Steve McQueen guy. I mean, I know you have to... They're trying to do too much in a short period of time. Do a love story. It should have been more focused on Wong Jackman and Bruce Lee, and it really wasn't. It was mostly focused on the Steve McGee guy.
And this was a short movie.
Too short. It was an hour and 20 minutes. I tell Seth sometimes, I'm a smoker, I don't mind if a movie's 2 hours, but I really like it, I'm into it, I wouldn't care about a cigarette. This movie... it was too short. It was like, oh my God, the movie's over? Are you serious? Like, what the hell? It was too short.
Now, let me ask you this. Like, okay, if they were to have made it longer of a movie, expanded maybe even another 20 minutes, half an hour.
I think it would have been a better movie.
Where do you think they should have focused that time on?
I think they should have focused the time on what happened to Bruce Lee after Wong Jackman went back. Show a little aftermath. Bruce Lee did a movie or a TV show, or how he got into acting, or what happened, how he changed his style. Show how he changed his style. Show what he did. Show how he created mixed martial arts. Something. It's like they left it too open-ended.
They really did where, okay, Wong Jackman leaves... we never find out whatever happened to Wong Jackman.
And you don't really find out what happens. I mean, yeah, you know Bruce Lee in real life, what happened to him. But I would like to know what happened to Wong Jackman. Did he go back to the monastery? What happened to him?
What happened to that? I mean, what really happened to these people in their lives is really the interesting thing to me. And also, the one thing I will say is that, yes, we don't get enough Bruce Lee, because Bruce Lee in the movie actually talks about, I have a wife and a white wife, and people
and a white grandmother, and you don't see that backstory.
No, you don't see any backstory. You don't see the wife. You don't see anything. And to me, I'm like thinking, he has this huge fight with Wong Jackman. He has this fight where potentially he could die. Where is the emotional stakes? Where is this stuff? And to me,
The thing is, one thing I will say, I didn't really feel connected to any of the characters. I didn't feel connected to Bruce Lee. Maybe Wayne Jackman a little bit. I did like him, but I really didn't feel that connected to anybody. It wasn't. There was no real connection.
No, it's unfortunate. And I will say this. To me, this movie is supposed to take place in 1964. It didn't feel like 1964.
Well, I was explaining to you, this was more of a Chinatown, which is different than the regular 1960s. Like, we saw that movie,
well, what movie is we?
Detroit.
Oh, Detroit,
which was in the 1960s.
Which felt like 1960s.
But everybody sees that image 1960s. Chinatown, when you have these little cultural things, Chinatown, or you have little Greek towns, they're very different than what's happening in the rest of the world.
Yeah, I mean, you are right. To me, there was a few little cars here, a little bit of, paint on the walls and everything, and it's supposed to be not 1960s. It didn't really feel it to me. It felt like, again, I go back to it feels very cheap and very TV movie-like, and, if this is supposed to be playing in a movie theater, and it is, like, you gotta spend the money. And it didn't feel like they spent the money to me. That was a shame. It's unfortunate because I think there's a lot of great stories that you can tell with the Bruce
Absolutely.
Lee.
I think they picked the wrong story.
Well, I don't think they picked the wrong story. I think the story's interesting.
I just think the way
they approached it,
yes,
I thought was the wrong way to do it. They could have done it so much better, and I felt like it was lacking in a lot of different aspects, especially just the Bruce Lee aspect itself, which the man is incredibly fascinating. He's one of the most popular figures. I mean, as you said, he's as popular as...
Yeah, he's like a legend. You have John Wayne Western movies, you have Elvis Rock and Roll. He is known for Kung Fu. People can debate it, but Jackie Chan is great, don't get me wrong. You have other legends. But Bruce Lee will still be all-time legend of Kung Fu and martial art movies. Nobody will ever... I don't think ever will outdo Bruce Lee.
No, I don't think anybody ever. Because, again, it's introduced at this point. We've known it for so long. Back when he was doing it, it was a brand new thing to a lot of people,
yeah.
and so he revolutionized it. Do you have any other thoughts about
nope.
the movie? Nothing. Nothing at all.
I told you all my thoughts.
Wow. Okay. Well, what's your grade rating then for Birth of the Dragon?
Birth of the Dragon. I'd have to say I thought the acting was good. I thought the plot was okay, a little bit weak. I thought basically the movie moved too fast. I thought because this is more of a TV movie than a cinematic movie, I was going to give it a high rating because I do love the action. But, now talking to you, a movie's not all about action and about fighting. You have to have a strong plot. I think this movie didn't have the strong plot I want. It wasn't enough about Bruce Lee. I'd have to probably give it a B, maybe a solid B.
Give it a solid B?
Not a B+, not a B-, just a B.
Okay. For me, look... I came into this expecting a Bruce Lee story, mainly a Bruce Lee story, and I didn't get it. I got the Steve McKee story, and Bruce Lee is the guest star.
Yeah.
And that kind of, like I said, that kind of ticked me off. I felt like the acting is good. So no one's really faulting in the acting department. It's just basically the story itself. It's basically... watered down. It's too short. I don't think they really made it as cinematic as it could have been. It feels very TV movie-like. It has so many limitations where they could have done so much more with it, and the potential was there, and it just, unfortunately, it failed. It still has its moments. For me, I definitely think, watch it on Netflix, like you said. As I would say, Netflix and Tai Chi.
So what do you give this movie?
My rating would be a flat C-.
Oh, wow. We're very different.
We are very different apart. Like I said...
And that will happen sometimes.
We're not going to always be close.
True.
We're going to be a wide gap. I will say this much.
That's like 3 grade points.
Yeah,
three grades.
It's really not. Yeah, it's far away. I will say this much: if Wong Jackman is still alive, I challenge you to a fight, Wong Jackman. I do.
Even at 90 years old, he'd still kick your ass with one finger.
I take you down, Wong Jackman. I'll do it.
He would go like this. Boop. You dead, motherfucker.
I would do it. I would totally challenge you, brother. So that'll do it for the review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you do, definitely give it a thumbs up. And we will be back next time for another movie review.
Mm-hmm.
See you later, guys.
See you later.
Bye.